Hello everybody, and just here and welcome back to Symphogear GX episode 13, the finale, the final, last episode of this season. On one hand, I wish we spent more time with it. I wish we explored the characters a little bit more. I wish we had more time with Elf9, more time with Carol, more time with the kaiju sister of one of the Autoscorers for sure. On the other, I can't help but kind of have the feeling of good riddance at some of the aspects of this season. The nonsensical redemptions that aren't really redemptions, the whole theme of fathers everywhere, not giving a shit about Elf9 bleeding out, right? All those things. Hopefully future seasons are a little bit better about that. And from what I heard, they indeed are, so I'm hopeful. But yeah, still, kind of sad saying goodbye to Dr. Ver, although maybe he survived, who knows, he's resilient as a cockroach. A little sad saying goodbye to Elf9, although she might survive and stick around. A little sad to say goodbye to the Autoscorers, because they really could have been explored a little bit more, to Carol, to all those characters. But yeah, we still have one more episode with them, so let's make the most of it that we can. Right, in the last episode, what happened is... what happened, actually? Well, they destroyed the chateau. That's like the one big important thing that happened. Dr. Ver, Maria, Kirika, and Shirabe managed to destroy it. Managed to hack it with some help from Elf9. They hacked it, they destroyed it. Although I think in the end it was Carol who destroyed it, because they hacked it to restore all the things that got dissolved. And I think Carol, in hopes of stopping the reconstruction, blasted it with her beam to destroy it, but the reconstruction already started and couldn't be stopped. So in the end she destroyed Chateau for no real reason. And then she decided she's gonna burn the last of her memories, to take as many people with her as she can. If she can't destroy the past and the now, then she can at least destroy the future or something along those lines. And also she admitted that she didn't necessarily misunderstand her father's words. She understood them perfectly, but she had her own idea. She had the idea of revenge. She didn't want to fulfill her father's words, not necessarily she wanted revenge. And that kind of explains what she's been doing. That explains her motivations. It's not the greatest motivation, but it's a believable one, and it kind of makes sense. So at least that is very much very good. Elf9 has been bleeding out throughout the entire episode. No one did anything about it. And in the end, she passed out in the arms of Hibiki's father, which is kind of weird, kind of ironic, but kind of not, that the only person that gave a fuck about Elf9 was Hibiki's father, not Genjuurou, not the two goons who are always sitting in front of the computers, not... who else was there? At least like one or two more people were there, I think, and nobody gave a fuck about Elf9, nothing. Like, it's still probably the weirdest, the wildest, and the worst thing about this season so far. Like, honestly, right? Honestly. All the, like, redemptions that weren't redemptions, sure, whatever. Let's say there is the whole, like, Ignite system, so you kinda needed some change in them to battle the Dyne's life and gain the Ignite or whatever. It fit thematically. And also none of the characters there were acting out of character, right? They simply reverted to how they used to be and get back to how they were. Nobody was acting out of character, but the Elf9 situation, Genjuurou isn't the kind of a person to see a bleeding kid and do absolutely nothing about it. Like, Genjuurou would be the first one to rip off his shirt and make a tourniquet, right? Genjuurou would be the first one to grab her and just run on the water surface to North America to bring her to a hospital, right? Genjuurou would be the first person to do that. And yet it was as if Elf9 didn't exist. And honestly, I think that's like the thing that irked me the most. Even the like Hibiki's father redemption or whatever, Hibiki's attempts at reconnecting. Hibiki is gullible. Hibiki is also a very positive person. She sees the best in people. Yada yada yada. Makes sense in its own twisted way. Elf9's situation doesn't make any sense unless you perform a character assassination and make everybody either not see Elf9 or everybody not give a fuck about Elf9, which is a character assassination on every single person present there, then it makes no sense. But yeah, it happened. Maybe Elf9 will survive, maybe not. I'm gonna be fucking pissed if she doesn't, because she could have survived, but no one gives a fuck about a little homunculus. And of course, one more thing that happened is the suicide song. Some mumbo jumbo about Hibiki connecting the song, Maria controlling it, or something, and they essentially took the song of Carol onto themselves and redirected it, molded it, whatever, shot up with a rainbow into the sky, and came back in their angelic forms. That's what happened. And now we're set for the final battle of our 6 girls in their angelic forms, superb ignite or whatever you wanna call them, against Carol. And I have a feeling that Carol is gonna lose. So I guess the one thing that's left to do is just watch how exactly she loses, and watch, most importantly, is Elf9 still alive? And the sky is angry because it's thundering. Sky is angry, but it's really beautiful outside. It's raining, and it's very, very cloudy, but the sun is shining through, so it creates this like very harsh light and a very, very harsh shadow, and everything outside looks amazing. But yeah, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the episode. Let's watch it, first and foremost. You're gonna need your subs, as always. I'm gonna need my sound, again, as always. And I'm gonna also need your support on Patreon or Throne monetarily, or if you don't want to spend any money, you can share my content, spread the word, like, comment, subscribe, all those things help. On Patreon in particular, if you want early access to Symphogear, you can get that there. And with that out of the way, we can start watching episode 13, the finale of Symphogear GX, in 3, 2, 1, go. Last time on Dragon Ball Z. Okay. And I'm having some lemon matcha. Generator X Drive. Wait, GX. Does Generator X Drive is what GX stands for? Should have been GXD then. Unless we treat X Drive as a single word, which they didn't. Yeah, you're gonna need a miracle there, Elf9. No, she's not, and nobody gives a fuck. She's hurt? Why are you surprised that she's crying? It probably will be enough, yeah. And then the Spanish Inquisition arrived. Okay, yeah, I mean, that makes very medieval sense. No, I'm not. Okay, more Alka noise. She's doing the same thing that every villain so far has been doing, which means summoning noise. I mean, if you call summoning a lot of noise the destruction of the world, then I guess she does have the capacity to destroy the world. Yeah, and she needs medical attention. You need to patch her wound first. Like, sure, give her a miracle or whatever, but like, stopping the bleeding kinda takes priority. Okay, so the usual Symphogear boss battle, clean out the mobs, then attack the boss. What are you guys doing? Does each of you have a... Oh, sure. They have a Beyblade with pincers. Why not? Okay, they are actually getting some new attacks. That's cool. And she has foot blades now. And Hibiki finally has a Gungnir-ish thing. It's still her fist, but looks kind of like Gungnir. And it should be of no surprise to anybody who watches my content that I enjoy Maria's attacks the most, because she uses floating weapons, and floating weapons are fucking cool. And it ends in property damage. In the next season, yes, it will begin anew. Oh, that's the thing from the thumbnail. Yes, as they always are. Yes, as she said she will. Oh, she's bleeding from her eyes. That's not good. Did you swear you will save her? Boob docking? Sure, why not? Are they gonna form a boob megazord in the end? There's a lot of combined attacks. Kirika and Shirabe have their Beyblade. Maria and Tsubasa have their Boobazord. She transformed. That's a Zord. That's a Zord. She's a fucking Green Ranger. Quell the fire in my loins. There are things you can buy that will help you with that. You don't need to murder people. Deflected. Deflected. Yeah, you need to all attack at once. Okay, Carol isn't... Well, I was about to say Carol isn't that strong if Hibiki alone can help, can stop the attack, but it's probably just Hibiki who's that strong. And that wasn't enough. Well, it was enough to crack open the armor. Yes, they were. Or maybe not, because Hibiki is amassing all the power. A claw. Oh. A genocide of miracles, you say? Something tells me the mighty claw is stronger than your genocide and genocide. That's a Zord arm. Yeah? Her armed gear is literally a claw, a hand. It's no longer just a lance. I mean, yeah, you've been straining yourself a lot. Physically and mentally. And there goes Papa. Fuck you doing, Hibiki? Oh, you're creating an even bigger fist. Okay, as you were. If you can't, if your fist isn't strong enough to punch her, make a bigger fist. And power it up with Ligma and everything else. Glorious. Oh! The subs synchronized with the music. Glorious break indeed. And Carol is alive. Kinda disappointing. Kinda expected. Yeah? The whole city. Exactly. Send her to the Library of Babylon or whatever? No, they don't have the staff that would open the passage. Whoa, it's stormy outside. Jesus, how long will the thunder last? It's still thundering. Ignite! Okay, Ignite in her superb form. It only just stopped thundering. It was one continuous thunder that lasted this long. Jesus! Yeah, understanding, not dissolving. Yeah, grab the hand, there we go. And everybody died. I mean, yeah, it genuinely looks like the city was fucking blown up. A nuke went off. Millions are dead. Okay, 72 hours. Is Hibiki's father still clutching Elf9, or has she actually been given medical attention? Oh, hey, Elf9 is alive. By some miracle, I guess. Thanks to a miracle, because not thanks to anybody fucking present there. So not all that different from what Carol was able to do so far. Carol, Elf9. Oh, that's a cool detail. I guess she would be one to be a drummer at a festival. Like, no joke. Yeah, I mean, that's how friendship works. You learn more about each other, and you become better and better friends. Crying? Because she couldn't save Carol? Probably. Or is she going to visit her father or something? Ah. Of course, Miku would be the only one who stays and waits for her, crying. Yeah, because Elf9 reminds her of Carol, person who she couldn't save. Even with her hands. And why are you crying exactly? Carol or something else? I mean, yeah, that's good enough, honestly. Saving the word thrice is hardly a little thing, but go on. What would that be? Foreshadowing? Hibiki literally punching fucking Galactus in the face or something? Honestly, wouldn't surprise me. With Megazords and docking and combined attacks and growing fists now being a thing, it wouldn't surprise me if they went full trigger and fought a galaxy-sized demigod in the finale of the final season. Honestly. Okay, what's gonna happen to Elf9? Is Carol gonna visit? Carol is gonna visit. She gonna try to implant her consciousness into Elf9, or what's she gonna try to do? Strangle her in her sleep? Oh no, she lost memories. Okay, cool. We're starting from the blank slate. Yeah. Listen, Carol. You're a good girl who's been helping us all this time, and we hope you keep helping us further. How about that? How'd she get in, though? Oh, she's coughing blood. That's no good. Call the nurse. The doctors can help, probably, so you should have a button there by your bed. And the, like, monitoring should, like, beep. Or I guess not. Is Carol gonna sacrifice herself? Kinda, sorta. Carol's body is, Oh! You recessed! I'm down! Absolutely! Hell yeah! I didn't expect that, but I'm not against it! And they're gonna merge into one. Carol's healthy body, Elf9's healthy mind. That's probably what happens. Oh, that's a cool shot. Yeah, so the monitoring does work. Everybody chill. She didn't strangle Elf9 in her sleep. They probably merged. No. Elf9. Boku wa? Okay, I guess we're supposed to infer who she's Boku wa. Okay, that's a cool ending. We still have a few minutes left, though, so any sort of thing can happen. Training, going to school, going to a festival. No, just running for the sake of running. With extremely pronounced butt cheeks. Because why not? They visiting mother and grandmother? Trying to reconcile the family? Probably. No, homework. Homework happened. She doesn't have homework, or she doesn't give a fuck. Okay. Okay, so it's more like a makeup work, not full-on homework. Gotcha. Tsubasa with Ogawa, what, visiting father? Visiting grandfather or something? Oh, hello, Maria. Going to see your girlfriend off? You fucking tsundere. He is seeing her daughter off. Covertly, but he is. Which one? You have to be more precise. US fell from power. Why would the US fall from power, and how? And what do you mean by perhaps? Perhaps someone's meddling? They have a new base, or is it... The fuck is that? Oh, that's the SD card that Ver left them, right? It probably has information on how to make a linker or something. Okay. For all the faults of this season, I like the ending. I like the finale, genuinely. I genuinely did enjoy this episode. It did have a few, like, iffy moments. But yeah. Thumbs up. Genuinely. Sky is angry at my opinion because it keeps thundering and lightning, but whatever. Right, glorious break. I love the synchronization of the visuals with the music. That was probably one of the highlights of this episode. Singing Hearts. That's gonna be either the song they open the concert with or they end the concert with. Project GX Mages. After credits? After credits! Would you look at that? And the reaction? Should have at least, I don't know, brought some flowers, chocolates, something. Yeah, it's not. Oh. I mean, maybe don't force them to reconcile. That has to be something they both want. Sure. Force your mother to get together with the father that left you, and that seems like a good idea that will not result in any sort of issues whatsoever. Everybody knows that marriages that are forcefully brought together after falling apart are the healthiest ones. The plot of Hibiki's father is probably my least favorite in this season, honestly. Okay. So now, we're gonna go through this episode again. Shall we? Yes, we shall. And then I'm gonna take a look at my theories. And we're gonna end with some closing thoughts. Or the other way around. I don't know. Right now, we're going through this episode again. Generator X Drive. Does GX genuinely stand for Generator X Drive and X Drive is treated as a single word? I don't know, maybe. What's the next season called, by the way? Symphogear GX. And the sequel to GX is AXZ. And then there's XV. And that tells me absolutely nothing about anything whatsoever. I don't know what these abbreviations mean. I'm assuming GX is Generator X Drive. The previous season was G, though, and what did G stand for? Gangnir? I have no clue. Yeah, the names probably make no sense. Are you okay? No, she's not. She's fucking crying. She's been stabbed. She's bleeding. She's anything but okay, my dude. Yeah, my father saved the village from the plague that ravaged the land. The villagers called his medicine a miracle and burned him at the stake. I call it a skill issue. Honestly, like, if you're an alchemist and you live in medieval times, you should know that being an alchemist is punishable by death. And the sky agrees with me. Yeah, like, you should have had at least like 10 close alchemist friends that were all burned at the stake. There is a precedent for that, a very clear one. Should have prepared some countermeasures. If you wanted to save the village, should have, I don't know, put the medicine in their food, put it in the water supply, or play the role of a traveling merchant, right? I don't know, change your face and bring a wagon and roll in, say, oh yeah, I have the miracle drag, then walk away, change your face again in the forest, go back to your hut, and nobody would be the wiser. The miracle maker would be the wandering merchant. Like, you'd think that someone as intelligent and as powerful as an alchemist would just not allow themselves to be burned at the stake, but what do I know? Maybe he likes being burnt. I have no clue. And yeah, that's very medieval. They burned him at the stake for working miracles they thought he had no right to, right? Only God can create miracles. We puny humans have no right to do that. My mission was to lift the veil on the fundamental principles and laws of the universe, thus completing the apocalypse of all creation. That's the mission you kinda created for yourself. You weren't given that. You were given a mission to know things, to understand things, not to destroy things, but sure. And of course, we're going with the classic, very classic, honestly, Symphogear boss battle. Boss appears, has a monologue, spawns a bunch of noise, we fight the noise, then we attack the boss. Classic. She summoned an immense number of alchemists. She did indeed. She still has the means to destroy the world. I guess alchemists are actually capable of doing that because they can dissolve even matter. They not only dissolve humans and organics in the end, they can also dissolve inorganic matter. So yeah, if there is any kind of a noise that can destroy the world, it would be alchemists. Makes sense. Hibiki, there's a girl in tears here. I think the fact that Elf9 is in tears is like probably the least concerning thing about her current state, but they have a different idea about it apparently. And yeah, if someone's in tears, you need to reach out to them. That's more important than staunching out the bleeding. This isn't the first time I've played along with your screwy way of fighting. Of course, we couldn't do without a proper ass shot, even if it's for just 2 frames. They really like their ass shots in Symphogear. And yeah, she has a mini mecha. That seems to be the theme with her superb forms, right? Her first superb form is also kind of a flying mecha thing. I like it. Fairly unique. Maria pulls out the Ergetlam out her boobs. Or I guess her heart, maybe. Yeah, we split up, we clear out the alkanoids. And Hibiki has a new weapon, a new toy as well. Which is her fist growing into a lance. This is significant. All this time, Hibiki wasn't able to use her armed gear. Right? She wasn't able to use the Gangnir lance. She wasn't able to summon it. Because her weapons are her fists. But now, her fist becomes a lance. Although it was stated before that she doesn't have the lance because she uses her hands to grab other people's hands and connect them. That's her true power, the connection. So one of her hands, one of her fists becoming a lance, kinda goes against that. Now sure, her other hand is still free, but with just one hand she can't connect to people. And that's her biggest strength. So that's one angle of this change. But another angle is Hibiki kinda growing more worthy of wielding the Gangnir. Right? She was able to wield the armor, but never the weapon. And now she's strong enough, or hardened enough, or whatever enough to be able to wield the spear, the lance, to actually be able to summon her armed gear in such a form and not any other, but still. So yeah, 2 sides to this. And of course, the third side is just the rule of cool, right? She turns herself into a projectile. She has boosty wings and pierces the heavens with her drill. This is just mad. I was wondering at the beginning, what the fuck is she doing with this stick? Did she also get a mecha? Is everybody gonna get a mecha? Are you gonna see a Megazord by the end of it? But no, it's just the two of them. It's Kirika and Shirabe who have joined forces and created a fucking Beyblade with pincers. It's just a Beyblade with pincers. With a little UFO capsule at the top. Is this really the most efficient and the most effective weapon against the alkanoids? Something tells me it's not. And yeah, Maria has her whip that can now create multiple swords. Yeah, it's a whip of many swords. That at the end turns into a singular sword, or is it an animation error? Or what's going on there? No. It's attached to like the end of her sword, to the tip. Yeah, okay. It's not that her sword has been turned into multiple swords connected with a beam of energy. It's that her sword emits this beam of energy with those multiple swords. Gotcha. I can't from those propellers. Why the hell would somewhat organic beings, inorganic? I don't know if they are organic or not. The noise, probably not. Just propellers. Sure, why not? Also, Chris got a little bit of a power boost with what seems to be laser beams. Yeah, it's not just simple bullets, it's a full-on fucking laser beam. Tsubasa, of course, has the weirdest thing. She turns the scabbard into a sword, which is cool, which is genuinely great and super hype. And I honestly thought that that's gonna be it, right? That everybody's going for those like super overblown weapons and overblown attacks, and they're merging together and creating Beyblades and mecha and whatnot. And Tsubasa, she's strong with a katana, and now she pulled out a second katana, and that's her second henshin, that's her ultimate form. 2 katanas, kind of like in Bleach. Ichigo has this big ass fucking sword, and the second form of this sword, whose name I forgot, Zanpakuto or something like that. It's just a puny little katana, but it's so much stronger. Initially I thought that's gonna be what we're going for here, but no. Ankle blades that are more like foot blades now because they're pointing down, not up. And okay, those are skates. Those are ice skates. Those are ice skates. Those aren't even ankle blades. Those are ice skates. What the fuck, Tsubasa? Now I kind of wish. You know what I wish? I kind of wish we had a battle on like a glacier or a frozen lake or something, and Tsubasa creates those ankle blades and just zooms around skating on the ice. I hope the creators of the show have the same idea, and we're gonna see Tsubasa skating sometime in the future. That would be super cool. And Hibiki still has her fist, because she doesn't need anything more. Double Ergetlam. That summons multiple weapons. Where did they come from, by the way? Could you hear the thunder? I swear it's getting louder and closer. Also, she has 2 swords, again, because I guess Ergetlam can turn into anything whatsoever, including multiple swords. I don't mind, because as I said, I fucking love when characters use floating weapons. Shooting floating swords. Thumbs up. Beyblade, let it rip. Everybody has their own way of fighting. Kirika and Shirabe like property damage. That's their way of fighting, I guess. Also, I love like that this one noise there. Yeah, it gets cut in half, and then that's the yippee pose and flies away. Tiny little details, tiny little very fun details. Also, what I like, those noises are actually drawn and not CG. I'm kinda applying like modern anime standards to it, with everything and their mother being CG. Probably wasn't the case back when GX was created, but I appreciate it nonetheless that the noise aren't just CG models. And yeah, all the noise has been eliminated. Girl's been building her phonic gain and bleeding out of her eyes and burning her memories. And out of the cocoon emerges a robot dinosaur. Dinosaur. I guess it's basically a dinosaur. There was a cartoon. Beast something. It was essentially Transformers, but instead of transforming into tracks and home appliances, they were transforming into dinosaurs and other like prehistoric animals. And that reminds me of that cartoon. It's the only way I may quell the fire in my loins. Why the loins? Why the loins? Is she horny for battle? Because if she's horny for battle, again, there are other ways of quelling the fire in her loins. Fire in my heart, okay, that I would get, but loins? It's like a very specific term, very specific thing. Fire in someone's loins has a very specific meaning. I guess one way to quell the fire is to let it out, and she does indeed let it out. Also, glad everybody managed to evacuate. Maybe there won't be millions dead, everybody's hidden in the bunkers. Good thing that they have those bunkers, right? To hide from the noise, because now there are dangers bigger than the noise, and they can use the bunkers. Right, I wanted to see... not this. That's just fire. I wanted to see Tsubasa's and Maria's merged form or whatever again. No, that happened before, right? Yeah, cocoon. Here's the uni lion Zord. Now I think Kirika and Shirabe attacked first. Yeah. And that did nothing. And then we punched through with one mighty blow. No, where was the scene with... Oh no, it was here. It was before she transformed into a dinosaur. Into a dinosaur. How do you come up with that? Like, we can't do that alone, so let's dock our boobs together and turn ourselves into a projectile. Like, sure, it's cool, but it's also so insanely weird. And of course that wasn't enough. Yeah, there they go. There's many things I did not expect of Symphogear. Boob docking was one of them. Jesus. And of course we need one mighty blow. Hibiki holds the attack back. And everybody else gets naked, because of course every single episode we need to have a moment where everybody gets naked. Although now they do keep kind of like a skin suit, plug suit, underwear thing, and it's just their gear that gets sent into the heavens and transformed into a blast that Hibiki catches and uses with her mighty claw. Yeah, we are like back to Hibiki's essence, right? The spear of the lance, that was cool. Gangnir is a lance, Hibiki uses Gangnir, so she has a lance. But her true power is the hands. Her true power is fisting. As the subtitle of this show tells us, it says something about fisting. I can't remember what, but I remember that it says about fisting, and I will never forget that. Might be painful if it hits you. Yeah, Miku taught me how it can do so much more than that. Indeed. Burning all her memories, not enough, because Hibiki's fist enters a second henshin. She can now fist in 5 colors of the rainbow. Oh, this is cool. The hexagons kinda appear in an uneven way, kind of like music visualizer, right? It very much looks like a music visualizer. It appeared in one of the OPs that actually those bars visualized music. I don't know if it was in this OP or in the OP of the previous season, but it's a cool accent. The music visualizer, and of course hexagons, because hexagons everywhere. You thought that was fisting. Little did you know, now I'm gonna fist you with double the power, with quintuple the power. I'm gonna rocket fist you. Jet fisting. With Amuno Habakiri, Ligma, and everything else. Fisting should be safe from STDs? No, you're getting a Ligma from fisting. I'm probably overusing this joke, but sorry. And yeah, this is like I'm joking here, I'm kidding, but this is genuinely an epic scene. Like, her fist growing with the power of everybody else, growing into cosmic proportions. One thing, well, not quite cosmic proportions yet. I have no doubt that she will eventually get cosmic proportion fist, and we're gonna fight like galaxy scale enemy. I love this detail. Some of this fist is physical, and the same goes for Carol's dinosaur. Most of it is physical, but some of it is just pure energy, and I love this effect. Some is physical, some is ephemeral, and it creates a very cool combination. Also, I love how the metal is rendered here, of the golden bits. It really does actually look like gold, and not just yellow. Really, really thumbs up. Someone really did do a great job with this fist. And all of the colors of all her friends are on this fist. Also, a detail, the fist has 6 fingers, because there's 6 of them. Right? That's cool. That's like genuinely cool. I didn't think of that initially. Right? Fist has 5 fingers and everybody has their color, but wait, there's 6 of them. And there's a solution. 6 fingers. 4 fingers and 2 thumbs. Why not? Right? Anything can happen. It's not like an actual hand, it's just a fist. And everybody calls out the name of their attack, does a Moe Moe Kyun beam. I thought they gave out all of their energy and whatnot to Hibiki initially, but apparently they have some of it left within them. Also, this looks kind of cool. Cat ears and the little bendy things from her headphones kind of look like whiskers. I just noticed that. That's cool. Really makes her cat-like. And the earpieces on her look like elf ears. And yeah, everybody throwing their energy at Hibiki. The only thing that, maybe not missing, but I fully expected, honestly, I fully expected Chris's boobs to jiggle in the wind. But apparently they aren't, so hey. And yeah, all of the, whatchamacallit, all of the Aufwachen waveforms, are overlaying. Would be cooler if the base waveform actually took on, if they were actually overlaid one on top of another and created this super complex shape. This is just one of them flies in and disappears, and sure, the significance is there, but could have been portrayed a little bit better. I don't mind it though, not at all. Big hit with Gungnir. Not Gungnir the spear, Gungnir the fist. Glorious break. Okay. Can't play it all because YouTube will copy strike me. Glorious break. Perfect synchronization. And the dino is Dino. Haha. It's gonna explode, blow up like a nuke. Again, thankfully you have bunkers. It's gonna wipe out everything in the 12-kilometer radius. Cruel truth of a world where songs can't save anything. Miracles kill all those who rely on them. Now, that is kind of true. If you rely on miracles, probably not the best idea. You should take things into your own hands. If a miracle happen, great, but don't rely on them. So there is some truth in what she's saying. And she dehensions, loses her boobs. They can't save anyone, but the Dine's life can. And yeah, the last words of her father are finally coming through to her. Finally. She burned out all the memories, but the last few that are left here. Yeah, ensuring that people can one day understand each other is the mission entrusted to us all. Like, that was the very purpose alchemy was created, right? As we know, alchemy and music were created from the same source with the same purpose. After the Tower of Babel incident, music was created to create a universal language so that everybody can understand each other, and so was the alchemy. Two different approaches. The approach of music was creating something new that will give us the universal language. The approach of alchemy was grasping the very core, the very sense, the very being of everything in the world so that we understand it universally. Two different approaches, but ultimately the same goal, so that people can one day understand each other. That was the message of her father. You know what you have to do. Reach out your hand. And she did, and she was grabbed by Hibiki. And Hibiki used Ruby's semblance. Kinda, no. It's just her wings enveloping them and protecting them from the fall and from the nuclear explosion. And apparently the tiny little submarine also survived the nuclear explosion, and so did Hibiki. I mean, the fact that Hibiki survived is no wonder. They were all pumped up on the superb song power, so of course they can survive a nuclear explosion. But the submarine, kind of odd. It survived. Especially with the city being in the state it's in. Just look at the crater here. Jesus Christ. The building survived somehow. For some reason. If the building with the chateau. Maybe the chateau absorbed some of the blast. I guess it would stand to reason that the chateau would be built different and withstand it and kind of protect this little bit of land. Whatever. This is weird, that they can't locate Carol. Hibiki was clutching her. Did she let go? Or what exactly happened? Did Carol just disappear? Did Carol tell Hibiki to let her go? Did Hibiki pass out and Carol run away while Hibiki was passed out? We don't know anything about what happened. I would like to know that, thank you very much. But if we're just gonna skip to, oh yeah, we're yet to locate Carol, then I guess that's fine. Sure, whatever. Yeah, Hibiki protected her and she's fine, so Carol should be alive too. But How do you not know where she is if Hibiki protected her? Carol's whereabouts are my only concern. I guess he's looking at the X-ray of Elf9. Looks like a couple of broken ribs, I guess. Maybe, I mean, if Elf9 is your concern, then maybe, like, give her a little more medical attention or something. I don't know. Okay. And yeah, summer festival, it's fun. Gyoza and... no, there's no gyoza in this picture. There is takoyaki, there is some noodles, maybe no, not somen. Somen is eaten cold. There's candy apple, grilled squid, grilled corn, hot dogs, all that jazz. And yeah, haha, fun. We're gonna have fun together, all of us at school. Maybe Elf9 is gonna join us at school as well, and we're gonna be friends and have fun. And oh no, Hibiki is crying. Because of course she is, because she couldn't save Carol in the end, or so she believes. I didn't want to cry in front of Elf9, sure. I mean, she's not entirely incorrect here, right? Like, you can't solve someone's mental issues by punching them in the face. So, like, she's correct there. But mostly everything else, you can solve by just sheer force, right? Someone's attacking your city, punch them strong enough to stop. There's some, I don't know, political conflict brewing, punch one of the leaders until it stops. Someone's skimming something, punch them. There's tanks rolling into your country, punch them, right? Like, everything else can be solved. And Hibiki's proven that. Like, this is the third time she saved the world by punching real hard. I guess maybe fourth time, because once she saved the world from Ryoko's plan by punching her real hard, and then she saved the world from the moon, the chunk of the moon falling, the whole moon falling by punching the moon real hard. So even more times she saved the world by punching real hard. So yeah, only the simple problems can be solved with your fist, but more often than not, it's the simple problems that are the biggest ones. And yeah, your hands are special. I'm sure one day it'll solve everything that's wrong with the world. Miku best girl. Of course she is. We've known that for a long time. How did she get here? How did Carol enter this building? How did she know where to find Elf9? Is it instinctual draw, or what's going on? I don't know. Yeah, she burned all the memories, she has vague fragments, and the fragments are constantly disappearing still. Tell me everything, even as we speak, I can feel myself slipping away. Indeed. And they're slipping away in different ways. Carol's mind is slowly getting wiped out, and Elf9's body is slowly getting wiped out. Although I have a feeling if she called for a nurse, they probably would be able to help her. I mean, she got like a punctured lung, so coughing out blood is to be expected. She didn't get, I don't know, traumatic brain injury or something, so she should be savable, but maybe she's not. What do I know of medicine, right? And yeah, the solution to that... Yeah, and she doesn't want to die, because she heard so much about the things that can happen, so much fun that she can have. And Carol's decision, one more time together. Time for some Yuricest. One more time. That's a keyword. They've done that before. Green flames burning. And beep. Weird that none of the monitors reacted when she coughed out blood, but again, what do I know of those things? 37 degree, 36.4, those are normal temperatures of a body. Yeah, everybody runs in, and what do you know, it's Carol, but with Elf9's memories. I wonder if it's just only Elf9's memories, Or is it a little bit of Carol still left? Is it like merged? Both minds merged within the only remaining healthy body? Although Elf9's body has disappeared, so I'm assuming their bodies merged as well? I don't know. And yeah, Elf9 is alive in Carol's body, but it makes no difference because it's the same body. A redemption arc, completely and utterly undeserved, but a redemption arc because sure. From what I heard, it's like some staff members had daddy issues, and they kind of projected them onto this show, and they made the entire season all about issues with their fathers. Like completely fatherless behavior, but that's what they did apparently. Yeah, homework, haha, funny. And yeah. She just so happens to be here waiting, just so happens to be on the path that Tsubasa will cross, just so happens to visit England every now and then. Yeah, she just so happens to always be wherever Tsubasa is. Baka. I love them, Tsubasa and Maria. Honestly, the only characters in this season that weren't done dirty, like genuinely, Maria genuinely went through some actual growth. Tsubasa genuinely went through some actual growth. Both when it comes to the family, both when it comes to herself. She shed the image of a sword. She got the image of the wings. Two characters in the entire season that weren't done dirty. Everybody was done dirty to some degree, except Tsubasa and Maria. What's your opinion on the magical girl incident? Maho Shoujo incident, is that what you're gonna call it? Things have been uncertain in Europe ever since the US fell from power. We haven't heard anything about that. Or is it something that happened before even season 1? Might have been. Or perhaps what? Perhaps someone's meddling? Could be. Also, one detail. Hexagonal glasses. Hexagons everywhere. Let's get back to analysis. Oh, look, more useless people who can't even create a tourniquet. But thankfully, Elf9 is alive and well. And she's wearing a summer dress. And yeah, she's working with data analysis. Doesn't have her own chair. You have to... Right? You have to earn the right to use a chair. Elf9 hasn't earned that right yet, so she's gonna be standing. Eventually, she's gonna earn a chair. And yeah, that, I'm assuming, is the SD card they got from Ver. Why are they, like, scanning it instead of just plugging it in and reading the data? It's probably a bunch of PDFs or something. Instead, we have, like, whoa, scanning, zoom in, enhance kind of deal. But yeah, whatever. I'm assuming it's maybe not supposed to be an SD card. It's supposed to be a super highly technological mambo-jumbo magic card or something. And yeah. Please. And of course she doesn't want to reconcile immediately. Like, what the fuck? The dude appears out of nowhere, wants to reconcile after abandoning you for years, when you were subject to so much abuse and damage to property, damage to your mental health. You left your daughter and she's been in a hospital and you just left her and you just appear here without as much as a fucking box of chocolates and you want to reconcile, you want to be a happy family? What the fuck? Like, genuinely, what the fuck? Yeah, and he's actually reasonable here. Jesus. He's the reasonable one. I guess you can take my hand just like that. He's correct. This shit takes time. Right? We're gonna keep living separate. I'm gonna visit now and then. We're gonna meet for coffee. We're gonna get to know each other again. We're gonna re-establish trust. Right? That's how it works. When you break a relationship between two humans, you have to re-establish that relationship. And Hibiki, the little shit, is jumping here just like that. Yeah, I want you to be together, so I'm gonna force you to be together. I don't like it. I don't like it. Oh, I don't. I genuinely very much do not like the after credits scene. No. Please don't. No. Not none of that, please. Okay. That's the finale. Right. Now, it's the time to grab my orange, green, and yellow. And we're gonna go through my theories. That's Madoka, that's Yokashi no Uta, Hataraku Mao-sama, Ruby Overlord, Symphogear GX. There's just 2 pages, so it shouldn't take us all that much time. First one, Nephilim's death makes Library of Babylon unstable and it spills out noise. So that is clearly not what happened in this episode. I don't know why I even had this as a theory, honestly, but yeah. Nephilim's death, yeah. Orange. Villain turned ally, Ver or Nastasia. I guess for a moment Ver did turn into an ally. So villain turned ally, Ver. And I guess you could say that in the end Carol kind of turned ally through Elf9, through saving Elf9. But kind of, sorta. Hibiki loses the ability to wield Symphogear. She lost the ability to sing. So I guess we can highlight that. Everyone loses gears, needs to learn to fight without them. Then they get gears back and are more powerful. That's not what happened. So, orange. Something similar happened, right? They kind of lost their way in like a more mental way, kind of, sorta. And they had to relearn the lessons that they forgot, essentially. But it wasn't about their gears, so that's false. They learned to use real relics, something, not relying on their systems. They learned to use relics, not relying on their systems. I don't know what I meant. What I meant by that. I'm assuming what kinda, sorta, I guess we can say it's yellow, because they did learn to use relics that didn't rely on their usual systems, those relics being the Ignite versions, so whatever, that gets a yellow treatment. Ver is back and helps. Green, of course. Ignite turns out to be too dangerous. After the initial hurdle, Ignite turns out to be just a regular fucking attack, regular second henshin. Not particularly much danger to it, just a time limit. Elf9 reawakens Hibiki's chest's shards to give her Gangnir back or something. That clearly didn't happen. Carol removed all her positive memories and gave them to Elf9 for safekeeping to avoid wavering when it is time to destroy the world. Now we know Carol had the true memories all this time. She simply chose to misinterpret them. Carol yeeted her memories as fuel for her powers. That's why she misremembers father's wishes. No, she misremembers them. She doesn't even misremember them. She remembers them well. She just doesn't want to interpret them the proper way. Elf9's body is needed as a new vessel for Carol. No, in the end it turns out to be the other way around. Carol merges with Elf9. Well, I called that one, didn't I? Carol needs strong gear and songs for her apocalypse. Indeed. That, and in parenthesis, ignite. You can't read. Yeah, you can. Ignite. So that's exactly what her plan was. Hibiki uses family's magic words in her hour of need. The magic words were like, what, it's gonna be okay or something like that. I don't remember if that happened, so I'm gonna leave it unmarked. Remind me if Hibiki did actually use those words, because I genuinely can't remember. Carol needs yantras, vasa, whatever, to control photosphere. She kinda sorta needed that to control the chateau, not the photosphere itself. Although no, the photosphere, right? Because it was the photosphere that that like encompassed all of the ley lines, and she needed ley lines to dissolve the world. So yeah, that's true. Ver wants to save the world, Carol to destroy it. Ver will turn against her. That's exactly what happened. Elfenine is given a new body, maybe merges with Carol. How did I know that? The universal power both alchemy and song stems from becomes relevant. Not in this season, perhaps in the future one. Ver becomes a cockroach, he'll be back. Again, we don't know that yet. Elfenine gets saved thanks to Carol's empty body. Yeah, kinda, sorta. Kinda, sorta. Carol's body was slowly losing its mind. Carol loses memories can be useful to us. Well, she was useful as a vessel for Elfenine, so I guess that's gonna be yellow. And I'm gonna quickly go back to the previous season of Symphogear to see if some of the unmarked things have become true or false. G, school gets destroyed, Chris gets pissed, no. Triple Spurb Song waves awakened Finney in Kirika. We don't know that for sure, really. Finney can control Kirika if push comes to shove, second personality. Later changed to Shirabe. Not relevant to this season. We'll see the girl, some random girl again. Maria's pendant restoration. Was Maria's pendant restored? Her sister's pendant was. Maria's? Or did I mean like the broken pendant being the sister's pendant? I guess it's gonna be green. Yeah, I guess we can safely mark it in green. And that's Shokei Shoujo Virgin Road. That does not interest us anymore. Now, about this episode, for all the faults of the season, and there were many, and I mentioned them time and again, so I'm not gonna be repeating myself because you know what the faults are. The redemption arcs, the changes, the growth that wasn't needed, all that jazz. For all its faults, this episode was genuinely great. Genuinely had some hype moments, genuinely felt like Symphogear. I think that's like the one key takeaway from this episode. In that it was about like fighting evil, fighting the not even evil, but fighting the enemy, saving the world. Meanwhile, many of the previous episodes were kinda sort of wishy-washy. Of oh no, I forgot the lessons I learned and I reverted to my old personality. Oh, something changed and I'm back to my usual personality again. And oh, just so happens I can use Ignite now. Many of those moments, many of those scenes, many of those episodes in this season weren't necessarily needed, honestly. Like getting access to the Ignite system, that was significant, but I have a feeling that they could have gone a little better about the Ignite system. Like they needed the characters to grow into the Ignite, but they've already grown. So they needed those characters to grow again. What you could have done there, and what's a very common thing to do, is make the Dine's life a personification of all of their doubts, their fears, and whatnot. I have to kind of refer to Ruby Ice Queendom, which I can't believe I have to refer to, but kind of a nightmare thing, right? When you initialize the Dine's life transformation, all of your worst nightmares come flowing through, right? For Chris, she would be bombarded with false memories and false situations of abandonment, of being alone in the world, of everybody dying, right? For Maria, it would be situations where she failed and someone died because of that. Maybe in her imagination, in her nightmares, it would be her that facilitated the mother's death or something of that sort. For Hibiki, it would be images of Hibiki grasping for falling Miku and then failing to grasp her hand and Miku falling to her death. You know? Things like that. That should be bombarding their heads, bombarding their minds. And if they succumb to that, they don't get to Henshin into Ignite form. If they beat that, if they steel themselves and say, no, that's not what happened, that's not what would happen, my father wouldn't act this way, Miku wouldn't tell me off, Kirika would forgive me, you know? Those kinds of things. Steel themselves. Dance life, let's off, second henshin. Ignite form. That would have been good. Having to completely devolve character-wise and then re-evolve into where they were doesn't sit well with me. Because one, it's cheap, because we go back to an already established character from like seasons past, and then we're going back to status quo, and nothing changed in the end. Second of all, it makes no sense, because how many times can you go through the same lesson over and over again? Eventually it has to stick. So that really didn't feel great for me, and it could have been done better. But yeah, I was talking about how this episode was genuinely good. Yeah, this episode was good because we kind of left that behind. Nobody needed to grow in this episode. Everybody was already past their growth, and everybody was at their prime. Even more than at their prime, because they had those like superb ignite forms, or whatever you want to call them, very angelic, very powerful themes to everybody, being able to capture the superb song of Carol and redirect it into their own power. That was great, that was amazing. That really did feel like Symphogear. Until the end, we were left wondering if Elf9 is gonna survive or not. Thankfully she did. I would be very, 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 very pissed if she didn't survive because of the negligence of everybody involved. And I guess the negligence continued all the way into this episode. Nobody still would give a fuck about Elf9. Nobody. Genjuurou and Ogawa would just discuss things casually, meanwhile Elf9 is bleeding out. Genuinely, probably the two worst things about this season. Two worst things. Hibiki's father and the treatment of Elf9. Genuinely. The thing with going back to their old selves and regrowing, sure, whatever, it's bad but can be forgiven. The redemption arc of Hibiki's father and the treatment of Elf9 were genuinely, genuinely bad. But we did get some hype moments. We did get some super cool attacks. We did get what I see is very cool and very curious, joint attacks. There has been precedent for that with Kirika and Shirabe, I think. But now it kind of spread out, because Kirika and Shirabe have their Beyblade with pincers. Maria and Tsubasa have their boob docking. I'm assuming maybe Chris and Hibiki would have some other combined form. And with the like ethereal big fist of Hibiki and with the dinosaur of Chris, I have a distinct feeling that we're headed towards situations where they might actually use a motherfucking Megazord. Or Megazord-ish thing that's half ephemeral energy, half actual like elements of their gears. Because there are 6 of them. Left arm, left leg, right leg, torso, head. 6. Right? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But how about I note it down instead? Uh, in general, it was super cool seeing them do all the docking and all the combining. It was completely mad, completely bonkers. But that's just Symphogear, isn't it? Symphogear is all about that, and that's why this episode felt the best for me. Um, Megazord. I'm just gonna say single word. Megazord. Everybody knows what a Megazord is, so everybody will be able to figure out what I meant by that. Uh, what else? I like the. I like and dislike at the same time the redemption of Chris. I like it because I'm glad that Elf9 survived, but I dislike it because Carol had to die in the end. It's very tragic to me. For a moment, I had hope that perhaps Elf9 will be alive and Elf9 will tell all about everything to Carol, right? What their father wanted, what happened, who Carol is, yada yada yada, and they will have essentially two alchemist twins, basically, to help them around, to help them at the base, to figure out a new linker, to analyze some relics and stuff like that, right? Essentially, their new Ryoko. But apparently, they merged using Carol's body and Elf9's mind. If their minds were merged, if there's bits of Carol still inside of Elf9's mind, I would like that. If that's not the case, then whatever. At least Elf9 is alive, so that's cool. That's good. I was genuinely afraid they're gonna kill her off, and that would be bad. That would be very very bad. Not just like storytelling wise, and not just because I like Elf9, but because she would have died due to negligence. And there's like no way around it. There's no way to put it any different way. She would have died due to negligence. Plain and simple. So that was a thing that happened in this episode. I fucking hated the after credits scene, but I told you all about it. I loathe it with every fiber of my being. I had no idea that Symphogear can get this bad. Right? Like, maybe it's an unpopular opinion or something, but so far, particularly previous seasons, were all genuinely great. There were very few moments that I would say like, oh no, this is bad. It was maybe someone doing something illogical, or maybe some animation error that I would say, oh, I don't like that. But there wasn't anything that I would genuinely hate. The after credits of this episode is something that I genuinely fucking hate. And that's no good. I hope that in future seasons, and I have trust, my trust has been shaken just a little bit, but I have trust that future seasons will not be making this mistake. I hope they will not be making this mistake. I need to check one thing in particular. Symphogear GX. I need to check, yeah, GX and AXZ stuff. I need to check out the writer. Is the writer the same or is the writer different? Sound director, storyboard, theme song, music, art director. Control F. Not writer, script. Kaneko Akifumi for GX. Script, Kaneko Akifumi and Mochizuki Mariko for AXZ. Well, I sure hope that Mochizuki Mariko will have a good influence on the script of AXZ. What did they make? Let's see. Somali, okay, that's cool. Script for Somali, script for Sakugan, script for Caligula, script for Aquarion. Not many things. And a comment on my anime list. This man or woman needs to quit. Doesn't make me hopeful for AXZ. Probably AXZ won't be any worse than GX. I hope it won't be any worse. But yeah, I'm kind of looping around. I'm kind of talking over the points that I already talked about. GX season as a whole, not just the episode. A lot of wasted time to me. A lot of time wasted on going back and going forward and talking, and useless characters getting useless redemptions, and Hibiki forgetting how to sing and then remembering how to sing and then forgetting how to sing and then remembering how to sing. A lot of just filler, honestly. A lot of things that felt like filler. It's only once we got the Ignite relics and once the Autoscorers started appearing, that's when things kicked off, honestly. I have hard time remembering like the first half of the season. I remember Carol's appearance, and I guess the breaking of their Symphogear, and that's about all I remember from the first half. The second half, when we finally start getting some stakes, some explanations, that's when things started kicking off. On one hand, I did like the fact that everything was a bit more mysterious. On the other, some of the mystery kind of overstayed its welcome and kind of fizzled out, right? Like the mystery of why Carol is doing what she's doing. It was very, very hyped, right? Why is she doing that? Is she misremembering her father's wishes? Is she having issues with her memories, or what exactly is going on? Turns out she chooses to misrepresent what her father's wishes, which is kind of sort of deflating, but not particularly much. Certainly nothing as disappointing as the battle with the kaiju autoscorer, because that was one of the low points of this season. Usually, Symphogear seasons have maybe like one low point, maybe, if that. This season had quite a few. Every time Hibiki met with. Yeah, genuinely, a lot of very disappointing moments, right? The big kaiju sister appears and gets defeated in one shot. Hibiki's father disappears and Hibiki just tries to reconcile and reconciles in the end. A lot of things that were really hyped up and then kind of just went whatever. I don't care. Let's get to fighting. Let's get to like the cool shit. Let's not spend time with Hibiki's father at a restaurant trying to scam his daughter out of a dinner. Let's fight. Let's talk with Miku. Let's talk with, I don't fucking know, someone else but the father. Again, I'm gonna be repeating myself, but genuinely the only two characters that were done well were Maria and Tsubasa, and that's crazy. That's crazy. I guess Hibiki as well got a little bit hardened. A little bit, just a smidge hardened. But overall, all the changes she went through were falling and then going back to where she was, and the same stays true for all the other characters. Visually, nothing to write home about, nothing particularly bad, nothing particularly great. Some cool moments, particularly in this episode, some great shots, genuinely, some great art in this episode in particular. Besides that, nothing that would be super memorable. Maybe the moment Tsubasa got her wings. That was cool, that was great. And and Maria's henshin with Ergetlam and her use of Ergetlam. Those were like significant, very cool, very well animated, very well directed moments. And besides that, again, nothing to write home about. When it comes to songs, Genocide and Genocide, of course, stands out. The song they sang in this episode that was synced up with the lyrics, with the visuals so well, I can't remember the title of, but that was also a banger. Besides that, it kind of has the same issue that Symphogear always has with its songs. The song happens, but at the same time, people are talking, things are exploding, everything is happening, and you can't really focus on the song. So I can't exactly remember many of them. What else about this season? Probably my least favorite so far. Least favorite, not just because of the poor writing, poor character writing mostly, poor execution, but also because of the wasted potential, honestly. The theme of alchemy, something parallel to Symphogear, something that stems from the same root. And we now discover alchemy. We now have someone who knows alchemy and will fight against someone who has alchemy. It has mind-blowing potential. Could we create, using alchemy, could we create artificial gear? Could we artificially increase the syncrate with relics? Could maybe Kirika and Shirabe not need a linker anymore? Right? So many things that alchemy could change, could be used for. It's so extremely significant. And in the end, it was used as a tool to destroy the world and as a tool to create the alkanoids. I guess Ignite relics were also something that happened. But honestly, all things considered, Ignite relics were also underutilized, I feel. That's another thing with like fizzling out, right? There's the Kaiju sister, there's something else I mentioned. Father, right? Hibiki's father and the Ignite relics. Everybody used their Ignite relics like once and they failed. Then they went through some devolving and growth and they used the Ignite relic again and it succeeded. And from that point on, they weren't really used. I was kind of hoping that they're gonna be like more significant thing. I guess they used the Ignite relics in the end, and or did they? Yeah, I think they were in their Ignite forms. Yeah, they were, and then they took on the brand of Carol's power and got henshined into their superb Ignite forms. Yeah, okay. So Ignite relics maybe were a little more significant than I gave them credit for. Sorry for that. Yeah, I don't think I have anything more to say, honestly. Uh, Fairly disappointing season with some cool moments, some cool themes, mostly around Tsubasa and Maria, mostly around this episode in particular, but for the most part, kind of disappointing. If it was on its own, not without the name of Symphogear attached, without the previous seasons, it would be cool. Nothing like mind-blowingly great, but cool. But since I got used to the quality, the writing quality, and the character writing quality in particular of seasons past, this one really falls flat. Like, really genuinely falls flat. And I have to wonder. I heard that it's because some of the staff wanted to resolve their daddy issues by including them in this show, in this season. But something has to have happened for someone to greenlight it, right? Like, you don't, if you see that the script is bad, you just reject it. If the writer refuses to fix the script, you find a different writer. I don't know. Was everybody at the company having daddy issues? What the fuck happened? Genuinely, what the fuck happened? Now, thankfully, this season, good or bad as it was, I'm gonna leave it up to you, turned out to be good enough to warrant the next season, and I hope they're gonna fix all the mistakes of this one in the next season. This one also warranted the concert. We're gonna be watching the concert, so stay tuned for that. Subscribe because it's gonna be a live stream. And yeah, I think that's gonna be it. Kind of surprised that after this season, the next one was greenlit, but I'm not against it because that means more Symphogear and a chance to redeem themselves. It's kind of like the characters in this season, right? They were good, then fell down, and then they climbed back to the status quo. I see GX as that moment of falling down, and maybe AXZ is gonna be back to form. I hope it's gonna be back to form. From what I'm hearing about the later seasons of Symphogear, they are genuinely great, so I'm gonna be looking forward to that. Hopefully all of the staff has solved their daddy issues so far, and we're not gonna have AXZ be themed around mommy issues or something. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it. I want to talk more about it, but I'm just gonna be spinning around in circles, so there's no point. So, I'm gonna end this episode here. But maybe you guys, you have something more to tell, something more to say, and if so, do that in the comments down below. What did you think of this episode, my reaction, my theories, stuff like that? No spoilers for AXZ, please, or for the OVAs, or for the concert, or what have you. If you do want to talk spoilers, my Discord is here, also in the description. It's free, open to everybody to join, so join it now, and you can find the Symphogear channel there, and you can use spoiler tags to talk spoilers to your heart's content. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Symphogear GX, but also Madoka Magica, Overlord Season 4, Yofuka Shinouta Call of the Night, Hataraku Mao-sama Season 2, Ruby Ice Queendom, and I think that's it. I also play games sometimes, I also stream sometimes. We're gonna be streaming the concert for sure, so might wanna be subscribed and click the bell icon for that so you get notified on time. There's gonna be a VOD, of course, so if you can't be there, then you can watch the recording, of course. What's next? Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or Throne, links in the description. On Patreon for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonals like Symphogear and Madoka Magica, and the next season of Symphogear, and whatever non-seasonal comes after Madoka. For $1 you get a role on the Discord, and you also get a place in the credits. On Throne you can pitch in towards my purchase of some new gear like a proper camera, better lighting, stuff like that. If you don't want to spend any money, you can still help the channel by spreading my content around, sharing the word. Sharing my content around, spreading the word, that should be it. With subscribing, telling people, liking, commenting, all that engagement really helps, but mostly sharing my content, because if you don't subscribe, maybe the friend you shared the content with will, and that's gonna help the channel a lot. And it costs you nothing, so why not do that? And with that, I think that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one, whatever it might be. Cheers. And here's the credits I mentioned. You can be on this list if only such is your desire, in this tier or in any other.